Next, we're going to have Brother Ryan Roberts, who is also a member of the Justice team, share some of his thoughts on our action alerts and also how to create scripts and just the importance of making phone calls. Brother Ryan?
Hi, I'm Brother Ryan. I work out of the Institute office outside of Washington, D.C., and I work a lot with our voter voice system. You might be familiar with it from our email alerts that go out several times a week. We recently started using a new feature of the voter voice system, which is offering the opportunity to make phone calls and to track those phone calls so that we, the Justice team, are uh, informed about the calls that were completed and the responses that our advocates got when they made those calls. So I've made up some slides to show you so that I can walk you through what that process looks like. Because it's different from the emails and requires some extra clicks, it's a little more challenging to navigate. But once you've seen it, I think that it has some level of intuitive walkthrough. So, if you're familiar with our action alerts, when you respond to the email or the text message that you receive, you're taken to a web page. Several times on the slides, you'll see these side-by-side pictures. And what they are is the ones on the left are if your browser is using cookies, but doesn't recognize who you are when you get to the site. On the right side is when you're using cookies and you have a cookie that tells voter voice who you are. When you log in, you'll see one of these two things when you get to the Action Alert website. I wanted to especially highlight in the red box on the left side, we've been getting some more questions about mobile phone numbers. And I wanted to highlight this checkbox that says send me text alerts. If you are entering your information to do an alert and you don't want to give it your mobile phone number, then you should just click in that gray check mark box. It will uncheck the box and the mobile number field will disappear. You'll be able to complete the alert without giving a mobile number. So I just wanted to point that out. Once you reach this screen, I'll move on to the next slide here. If the cookies don't recognize you, you'll fill out your information in the form down the left side picture here. If you are recognized by the browser, again, you'll see on the right that it knows who you are and who your recipients should be. In this case, this was a phone call alert that we did last week that was going to senators. And so these are my senators here in Maryland. If you click that red button at the bottom of either of those columns, either send message or continue, when it's a phone call alert, this will pop up on your screen. It will gray out most of your browser, and this pop-up will say, please click the phone icon to place a call now. As a reminder that there's something different to do in this type of alert. You can just click OK, and it will bring you back to this screen. And what you'll want to do is click inside this red rectangle here on one of the phone buttons. When you do that, it will, again, gray out most of your screen and pop up this white window that has a number of pieces. Right at the top, you'll see it tells you who you'll be making the phone call to, in this case, Senator Ben Cardin. Right beneath that is the phone number to his office in the Capitol in Washington, D.C. On occasion, we've used a phone number through sometimes the network, and we will paste that phone number into this center box here. That center area is the script that we recommend that you use. You can modify it if you like, but we are giving you a baseline, and using this as it's written is perfectly adequate. We've just identified a couple places where you'll need to insert your own information, namely your name, your town, and your senator's name or whoever the target of the call is. And you can just read it out as this. It's a phone call. As Sister Sue said, we're familiar with making phone calls. You will often get to a staff member of the legislator that you're trying to reach. You very rarely will reach Senator Ben Cardin on the phone on a random Wednesday afternoon. But that staff member is trained in how to receive these constituent phone calls, and they'll ask you in as neutral a way as they can, well, what you'd like to call about, and that's the time when you could read this script. And near the end of this presentation, we'll talk about the elements of a script that make sure they hear what you would like them to do. Once you've made that phone call, in the red box here at the bottom left, we want you to click in that space asking, did you complete your call? You'll click on that down arrow and it will change to a drop-down menu where you'll have three choices. You can say, yes, I spoke with someone. Yes, I left a voice message. Or no, I did not speak to anyone. The computer's not super happy if you click, no, I didn't speak to anyone. And it won't mark this call as completed. But if you choose either of the other ones, you'll be able to proceed after a couple of steps to the next phone call. If you choose, yes, I left a voice message, that'll be the end of your information. But if you say, yes, I spoke with someone, it opens up a couple more. There's a drop-down menu under with whom did you speak? You'll be able to choose either the policymaker or someone else. And that white box at the bottom is where you can tell us, the justice team, a little about your exchange with the staff member. Usually they'll say something like, I'll let the senator know about your interest in this particular bill. And you just type that out for us to know. Sometimes there's something a little more extensive, and we would love to know if there's some unique interaction you have with a staff member. Once you've filled this out, you can click the Save button at the bottom, and it will return you back to the front window, and you should be able to click another phone call if there is another one. I highlighted in the red box here something in the grayed out background. You'll see that one of them has a small check mark in a circle, and the other one is the full color square with the phone on it. What I've done here is I've only completed one of the calls to Senator Chris Van Hollen and then tried to click send message. Because I didn't complete the call to Senator Ben Cardin, I get this reminder that says, if you leave this page, if you move forward, you won't be able to place the remaining calls, in this case to Senator Ben Cardin. It's just a little pop-up to remind you that there's something else the Justice team hopes that you'll do to take full action on this alert. Once you've made both phone calls, following through, clicking the phone icon next to their name, and then making the phone call and doing the drop down to tell us who you spoke with, then both of them will have the check marks on if there are two calls to make. Sometimes it's just one. On occasion, it might be more than that if we'd like you to speak to your whole congressional delegation. When they all have the little check marks, you can go down to the bottom where the button says send message, and clicking on that will complete the action alert and tell the Justice team about your interaction with our legislators. Now, all that is an alert where we've prepared the script for you. You may, on occasion, want to write your own script if there's something that's of import to you that you'd like to connect with your policymakers about. But there are a couple main elements. You want the policymaker to know who you are, your name as a unique identifier, and also where you live. With things like state senators, as long as you live in the state, you're a constituent. So they may only ask for your zip code. If it's a representative in Congress or it's a state legislator, they may need some additional information. And that staff member can ask for what they need to make sure that you're a constituent and how to pass on the information you have for them. You want to tell them about the policy or the issue that's important to you. It doesn't need to be extensive. They're trying to take lots of phone calls probably, and so you want to be brief to make sure that you're clear in communicating what you'd like. And the story is a very important part of a phone call. It's particularly valuable because that unique twist, the reason that you personally are engaged, has a possibility to sway a policymaker through their emotions, where the data may indicate a particular path. Knowing that how their constituents are affected may help them to make a decision more in line with our values. And you also want to call to action. You want to say specifically what you'd like them to do. With our action alerts, it's usually co-sponsor or vote on a particular bill in the way that the justice team is inviting you to do. But you could make a phone call to policymakers anytime. You could ask them to introduce legislation. You could even ask them to come out for a visit if there's something you want them to see in their constituent services. This is a lot of text here. So there's a brief version, which is sort of a script you can fill in. Again, your name, identifying yourself as a constituent according to their geography. And it's important to say, especially with justice team alerts, that you're a person of faith and that you're connected with the Sisters of Mercy. That connects you with a larger group and helps to add weight to your voice in making a connection with the policymaker. You want to tell them what the issue is. You want to tell them your personal story in brief, why it matters to you and why you think they need to take action. And then specifically name the action that you want them to take. And as always, with a phone call where you're making a request, thank them for their time.